Let me welcome you to my channel. Before we begin the video, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and like this post. A WWE is unnecessary for Solo Sikoa and the Roman Reigns lineage plot, according to a veteran of the sport. Iconic figure now not participating Jim has. Cornette elucidated Paul Heyman's ability to never return to TV till he's required prior to the resumption of reign at WWE. Heyman was eliminated in SummerSlam by the Bloodline upon his failure to recognize Solo as when the tribe's new chief was installed in the Hall of Fame via the announce table, startled the spectators inside with a powerbomb. Last but not least, at podcast episode of his The Experience series, Cornette outlined the potential benefits of it's best to keep Heyman away from the water. Family tree. Plot point. He is requesting that WWE rescue his reimbursement for the time that the business need his return to television. They are unable to. He's so amazing. I don't even need him right now. Aspect of it that I am in no way attempting to. Paul Slack, that, my friend, is the wonderful. The fact that he isn't even necessary for that. They have the option to store it for a later time. Would want to hear from Cornette when they do 614 to 631. Paul Heyman has not been in touch with news broadcasts after the Bloodlines incident. By the time, in June, however, the Wizen has been rather busy on various social media platforms and attended, held in the Big Apple Fanatics Fest. Dear Paul, for Heyman, the reason he hasn't been seen on WWE TV is cited earlier. Paul Heyman was in New York City for Fanatics Fest, New York City, where he had his own show. As an element of Sam Roberts' wrestling style, podcast host Mon was questioned over his time off television and the possibility of his comeback. Being on is something I would rather avoid. Watching TV just to be on television, all of our endeavors must pertinent. That is the concept underpinning a tropical island in importance. If I were to return to, if Roman Reigns were to compete at SummerSlam, it to signify anything and nothing. Hope I could play a part in that time. According to Heyman, the current is fierce. Roman Reigns and Solo, a Star Wars story, ongoing when the OTC is being drafted. Off the air for 2 weeks, viewers are worrying about the people Reigns will enlist to support the night he faced up against the C family. Audible, the stadium teeming with excitation as the audience eagerly anticipated it. The Bloodline saga continues with Roman's novella. The chief of the tribe had been missing for some time, wrestling for weeks, forcing a large number of fans to. I was wondering whether the group was about to near collapse, but without him, there was. Astonishment struck Solo Sikoa. Youngest descendant started to succeed, demonstrating that the relatives failed. Want a WWE great to come back to maintain its lead as a seasoned player in the commercial enterprise. Paul Heyman had seen generations of famous people rise and fall. Initially expressed this view on, the view shifted to the dressing room where Heyman is accompanied by the majestic figure of individuals stood before a WWE. Heyman, the interviewer, had a radiant look in his eyes, with an air of deceit as he spoke with WWE. Bloodlines in the cosmos are about more than. His voice started to stream as one guy, Mon, spoke, along with, undoubtedly, Roman Reigns is on top of the tribal leader. Nevertheless, the power of the ancestry is based on its continuity and its culture, history, and this young guy, sitting opposite to me, Solo Sikoa personifies, is being discussed in relation to that power, relying on the reappearance of a legendary figure to rescue family tree. Yet, I must share with you, rescuing the lineage requires it occurring at this same moment. The statement was delivered via standalone SEO. Shocked the WWE community for speculation over the possible comeback of a renowned WWE personality, exceptional individual capable of supporting the family tree when Roman isn't around. They threw the rock and Archie around in conversation topics among fans, with a large number of people holding the view that the household need a formidable individual to get control back. but Heyman's statements made their point obvious. The one and only Solo Sikoa and the lineage didn't have to seek out a knight in the past to ensure their dominion. Later that night, performing alone, Sikoa was about to compete against the best. One bout between WWE superstars might potentially secure his position within the family tree or reveal his vulnerabilities that Drew McIntyre's opponent faces. Guy, who has been riding high ever since, making a triumphant comeback to SmackDown, and he was determined to bring down the lineage as he traveled to the chant resounded across the stadium from a variety of reception, with some admirers applauding. Rising celebrity savors his tough, not ridiculous, style, while some were still uncertain and doubtful whether he was able to bear the burden of the lineage resting on his sturdy frame. With the help of Roman, the contest started with McIntyre reigning, using his stature and expertise to acquire the advantage he alone threw around the ring. It became evident that he wasn't fearful of the younger, less experienced, familiar with SEO, but not with standalone. In order to retreat, he had gleaned from them top-tier Roman, Jimmy, and Jay on the matter. Need to stay alive in the. Even more crucially, he was involved with WWE, establish his lineage's potential, but not aided by a renowned personality. He started playing alone as the game went on. Seeking his groove, he replied, the combination of McIntyre's quickness, resilience, and brute force proved to be too much for him every time he believed he had the upper hand. Smashing the Samoan bulldozer to pieces, ascend once again, propelled by the egotism of his traditions, legacy, and the anticipation of his family. The match's turning point culminated when McIntyre proceeded, in order to execute his trademark Claymore kick. When McIntyre's accused gasses the crowd, approaching completion of the last Solo strike, but Solo evaded in the blink of an eye, in the face of a crushing kick. This Samo Spike Ave dance was a tribute to his predecessors, the greats. Mr. McIntyre collapsed upon the floor, while the officials, the three, were given a smack on the canvas. When count alone won, the arena went into an eruption. Admirers who can't dispute the strength, career prospects of the rising star as a Solo stood tall and proud in the ring, his heart racing, gasping for air as they were. Paul Heyman became, via him, the seasoned manager. Elevated Solos, lift your hand in a symbolic motion that informed the public that the lineage remains a formidable opponent and someone named Sikoa who would guide them through upcoming performance. Tensions behind the scenes. Members of the WWE could feel the tension in the air. Everyone in management and on the roster was Solo's triumph to a certain extent. Those who are hesitant, without a doubt, Solo Sikoa had just established himself as respectable challenger in the world of WWE, regardless of whether the USOs are in the locker room. When I saw the contest progress, I noticed a feeling of pride and prudence. Jimmy J had seen the capabilities of alone, who were aware that the WWE was more than just a spot where coalitions may change in a. How quickly will Solo's ascent lead to their more closely spaced, or would it give rise to splits in the family tree? Always a master tactician, Paul Heyman promptly addressed the issues in meeting with significant individuals, including the USOs, descendants of such individuals. He emphasized, he already said that there's no reason to reinstate a legendary figure to verify the Heyman bloodline. Spoke with a high-pitched voice, constant, although controlling the situation as it is. A new, much stronger, a generation that is ravenous in order to defend its status by herself, demonstrated tonight that he can get by without assistance, never needs a helping hand. Our lineage is robust due to our continued in the same boat, and so long as we have no need for a savior on this journey. Just before SmackDown aired its last episode, though, suddenly WWE fans had a new familiarity with the Bloodlines' trajectory. At some point, Roman Reigns would be back, but upon doing so, he would come upon a group that had managed to stay alive while he was away from. Had prospered as a result of C's resolve and under the guidance of the Hun. Ancestry has shown that they were unable to want a WWE great to come to their rescue. They may be able to rescue on their own. The future seemed cloudy, yet it was evident that the family tree is ongoing, especially with Solo SEO in the driver's seat. Their account was only first stages.